On our wedding day, Kathy's former love, who once left her, returned to steal her away. "I'm back. Will you still marry me?" Kathy, usually composed, broke down for the first time, crying in his arms, saying "I do 999 times. All the guests thought I'd make a scene, but I stepped back willingly and even gave them the marital home. Kathy praised me for being understanding and promised, "Don't worry, I'm just going through the motions with him. We already have our marriage certificate. I'll always be your wife." What she didn't know was that I was taking care of her just to repay a kindness. And that marriage certificate? It was fake. The drama was unexpected, and murmurs filled the room. Before I could even react, Kathy hastily pulled off our wedding ring and carefully placed it on her first love, Michael's finger. Seeing her overflowing joy, I couldn't help but laugh at myself, rubbing where the ring used to be. Kathy is picky and loves a good ceremony. I proposed countless times, each rejected because she felt I wasn't serious enough. Once, I missed ironing a crease in my suit, and Kathy stormed off, not speaking to me for a month. It wasn't until I spent a fortune on a cruise rose dinner that she reluctantly agreed. Now, Michael stood in a plain white t-shirt with wrinkled jeans, holding flowers he casually picked up from the wedding venue. He didn't need fancy words. Just saying "marry me" was enough for Kathy to say "I do" countless times with tears in her eyes. Only now do I realize the weight of those words about true love requiring no standards. Even though this man abandoned Kathy 7 years ago, leading to her disfigurement from a car accident while trying to save him, and leaving her with mental anguish and multiple suicide attempts, he never came back to visit once. No one who knew the truth cheered for their relationship. Only Kathy was hopelessly trapped. I silently turned away, leaving the stage for them, still not off it when a friend, upset on my behalf, couldn't help but speak up. "You helped her heal, put so much into this, only for her to run back to the one who hurt her. What a waste of your meticulously planned wedding. What bad luck." He spoke loudly, trying to stand up for me. Guests exchanged puzzled glances, and even Kathy's close friends couldn't grasp her behavior. Kathy looked uneasy on stage, glancing nervously at Michael, who merely scanned the room, not embarrassed at all. Instead, he huffed, "Kathy, you agreed to marry me, yet you're using wedding posters with another man. You're not serious about marrying me. Forget it, I won't marry you." With that, Michael tossed the ring and turned to leave. Anyone else in such a crucial wedding situation would not tolerate such treatment. But Kathy was different. She picked up the ring, desperately begging Michael not to leave. To show her commitment, she even grabbed scissors to cut me out of the wedding posters and threw me in the trash. After doing all this, Kathy thought Michael would be satisfied and tried to put the ring back on him. But Michael dodged and again criticized the wedding setup. "I hate red roses. They're tacky. Whose lousy taste is this?" Kathy forced an embarrassed smile. "I don't like them either." Dino insisted on this. I couldn't change his mind. "Let's just remove all of it." Hearing this, I looked up at Kathy, who was hiding her sadness. Red roses are the only flowers Kathy likes. She said she didn't want commercially cultivated ones. They must be nurtured with love to bloom beautifully. Because of this, I bought 10 acres of land and personally took care of a rose field, watering and tending to it daily to ensure every rose was vibrant. But now, just because Michael said he didn't like them, she was ready to destroy the roses I grew with love. They overturned the floral arrangements I painstakingly set up, trampling each flower. Chaos reigned at the wedding, yet Michael remained dissatisfied. He found fault with the red balloons, bursting them all. As balloons popped one by one, guests shook their heads and left. With the scene almost ruined and most guests gone, Kathy was still eager to embrace Michael, only to be pushed away again. Michael looked Kathy over, who was stunning in her wedding dress, and raised an eyebrow. "Did he pick this dress for you?" Kathy froze, glanced at me, and I looked down. Not just that. The dress was custom-made for her, every rose on it stitched by hand by the designer. It aligned with all her tastes. I recall the genuine joy in her eyes when she tried it on, making me happy for so long. I knew this dress was her favorite. But now, She feared Michael would change his mind and was determined to change out of it. When she encountered me while changing, she assumed I was stopping her. After all, during all those painful days and nights, as she mourned Michael, I was by her side, taking care of her, being her safe haven. She might have felt a little guilty towards me, offering me a rare hug and softly saying, "Don't worry, it's all an act. I just want him to feel what it's like to be abandoned. Sorry for having to stand in for my absent mom at this wedding. Next time I'll plan it myself and make sure she's there." With that, she hurriedly left, terrified Michael would leave her again. As her scent gradually faded away, I felt it. But I didn't tell her I was leaving. We had no future together. I took out my phone and texted Kathy's mom. "Auntie, Michael is back. Kathy doesn't need me anymore. It's time to end our agreement." I took a cab home alone. These days I've barely eaten, prepping for the wedding. I ordered takeout. Just as I finished and cleaned up, Kathy's mom called. She sighed deeply. "Dino, these years have been tough on you. It's Kathy's loss. She doesn't deserve you." I stayed silent. All these years I was just repaying a debt. When I was young, my mom got seriously ill and couldn't afford treatment. Kathy's mom stepped in, not only with money but connections, saving my mom's life. I promised her back then I would repay this kindness. She just knelt down, looked at me kindly, and thanked me for my offer. When we met again, I was already a top-notch therapist. She asked me to help her heartbroken daughter. I put aside my work to stay by Kathy's side, being there for her every need, taking care of her like a servant. Eventually, with my help, she started to recover. A year ago, she was pretty much healed. I was about to come clean and leave when she wrapped her arms around me, saying she had forgotten Michael and wanted a future with me. With years of care, loving her had become second nature. In that moment, I was moved and agreed to stay. But she didn't know about the promise I made her mother. If Michael returned and Kathy still loved him, I'd step back for their sake. And now, things went as I expected. Time for me to exit her life. After some small talk, knowing she couldn't change my mind, Kathy's mom asked when I was leaving. "Auntie, I booked a flight for tomorrow." Just as I finished speaking, Kathy walked in the door. Hearing my words, she playfully teased, "We're getting married. Why can't you start calling her Mom already?" I simply said goodbye and hung up. The door was wide open, and following Kathy, Michael entered. Before I could respond, Kathy busied herself, happily showing him around the house and asking him to sit. Michael sat on the couch, glanced around the place, and looked at me with a smirk. "Kathy says you always gave her nightly foot massages?" I looked over at Kathy, but she guiltily avoided my gaze. After Michael dumped her, Kathy's emotions were unstable. She was in a constant state of insomnia. Initially, I massaged her feet to help her sleep, but eventually, it became a daily routine. It was a private thing between partners, and yet she had already shared it with Michael. Michael leaned closer to Kathy indifferently. "Kathy, why don't you show me? I'd like to see how well he took care of you." Kathy seemed oblivious to the awkwardness, happily agreed, and got the foot bath ready with warm water. With those delicate hands I used to massage daily for half an hour, she took off Michael's shoes and socks. Gently, she washed his feet, mimicking my usual routine, patiently asking, "How's the temperature? Is the pressure okay?" Michael, being indulged, proudly looked at me, silently saying, "See this? The princess you cherished is happy to serve me." I wanted to remind Kathy for her mom's sake, but Michael spoke up with a mocking tone. "Kathy, you're so good at this. Have you worked in a foot massage place or something?" Though a rude question, Kathy took it as a compliment, responding blissfully, "No, but if you think their service is better, I can learn." Gazing at Michael, stars sparkled in her eyes, yearning to show him her love. Seeing this, I swallowed any advice I wanted to give. "I'm just a doctor, not a magician. Some people can't be helped." I turned to leave. Michael suddenly stopped me. "Dino, the wedding apartment might still have formaldehyde concerns. Why don't you stay there? Kathy and I can stay here." It was the home Kathy and I decorated for a long time, the one I paid for in full. I thought Kathy might hesitate, But without even consulting me, she agreed, saying, "That place has been ventilated for 6 months. There's no formaldehyde. But if you prefer it here, we can stay. Dino won't mind." I paused slightly. Yeah, for the past 7 years, whether as her therapist or boyfriend, I had no opinions of my own, always putting her first. Now, as things end, I'm taking the lead. "Kathy, let's break up. You two can stay wherever you want." Kathy paused, dried her hands, and looked at me irritated. "What's with you? Throwing a tantrum now?" I ignored Michael's satisfied grin, packed my things with Kathy following, chattering, "I was just pretending earlier." "You didn't believe it, did you?" Pretending, right? Yet all this time, 7 years, she'd been so withdrawn, showing no interest in anything. But since Michael arrived, her world appeared illuminated, transformed by sunlight. No matter how many times she'd claim it was pretense, her change was real. She's always deeply loved Michael. That never changed. Kathy watched me silently pack my things without a word. She stared for a while before speaking. "You're putting on an act, aren't you? You're pretty convincing. Don't worry. I know you can't leave me. I won't abandon you." I still didn't respond to her words. In treatment, it's crucial to make patients feel needed. That way, they won't easily give up on life. Hearing her speak like that, I neither agreed nor argued. When I finished packing and still didn't respond, Kathy finally showed frustration, kicking my suitcase in anger. "Go if you want, see if I care. Just don't come crying back to me later." She spat those words with venom, turned away, and went back to tending to Michael. I picked up my suitcase and left. As I walked out, I saw her massaging Michael's head, loudly asking, "Does that feel good?" I didn't listen any further and shut the door, heading to a hotel nearby. Just after moving out, Kathy's mom called me. She was coming back to the country the next day and wanted to take me out for a meal. I had no reason to refuse. After a good night's rest, I went to meet her the next day. Kathy's mom chose my favorite restaurant, ordered a bunch of dishes, and slid a card across the table. "Dino, there are 300 million in this card. Consider it compensation for taking care of Kathy all these years. My family has let you down." Kathy's mom's eyes were red, filled with regret. She was a single mom who chose her career when Kathy needed care the most. Years later, she became a successful businesswoman, but she always felt guilty about Kathy. That's why she was so lenient with her. Kathy got all her money from her mom. If her mom stopped the funds, Kathy would have nothing. But not many knew this. Everyone believed Kathy was successful on her own. Little did they know, her company bled money every month, only surviving because of her wealthy mom's support. Many people were drawn to Kathy for her money, but not me. I pushed the card back. "Auntie, your kindness saved my life back then. No need for money now." Kathy's mom raised an eyebrow. "It was just a small favor back then. You've had it hard caring for Kathy. You must take this money." As I was about to reject again, someone called my name from afar. I looked up and saw Michael jogging towards me, showing off his Rolex while boasting. "Kathy just got me this watch and invited me for a meal nearby. Didn't expect to see you here, Dino." What a coincidence. Michael didn't know Kathy's mom. Seeing I didn't react, he kept provoking. "Your wife is pretty generous. I asked for 20 million, and she gave me a card right away. I'd suggest divorcing her early. Women like her are out of your league." Michael didn't realize Kathy had come out from the restroom and heard everything he said. I just calmly pointed to my suitcase. "I'm moving back to the States permanently. No need for showdowns now." Soon, Kathy came over, looking upset, and focused entirely on me. She didn't notice it was her mom sitting there. She coldly asked, "Dino, we're married. Are you leaving without discussing it with me?" I smiled and pulled out our marriage certificate, showing her, "Take a close look. This marriage certificate is fake." Kathy was stunned upon hearing this, unable to understand how our marriage suddenly became fake. Michael, standing beside her, laughed out loud. All his fussing was to push us to divorce, only to find out our marriage was never real. His trouble was pointless. Seeing Kathy upset, he held back his laughter and softly comforted her. "It's okay, Kathy. You still have me. I'll always be by your side, never leaving. By the way, Dino didn't con you, did he? Even if he did, don't worry. I've got lawyer friends who can help get your money back. Kathy didn't respond to him because she knew very well that in all our years together, I never asked her for anything, nor did she give me any gifts. In fact, I was the one spending the whole time. Not after her money, and treated her well too. She still could not believe I was really leaving. Forced to smile, she said, Dino, please don't lie. It's not funny. Seeing Kathy unwilling to let go, I didn't want to explain further. I glanced at Kathy's mom, who had been ignored by both, and said, Auntie, could you handle the rest? I need to catch a flight. Only then did Kathy notice her mom there. Mom, weren't you working abroad? Why didn't you tell me you're back? Michael was taken aback and, recalling his taunts earlier, politely addressed her as Auntie and shot me a reproachful look. Kathy ignored it all, more concerned with asking her mom what was going on. Kathy's mom sighed and explained patiently, Kathy, I never told you, but Dino was hired by me as your psychologist. He has been with you for 7 years. You've fully recovered, so it's time for him to go back to work. Kathy couldn't believe it, grabbing my suitcase tighter. Mom, you're lying too. How could he just be my therapist? He was, given how good I was to her, always putting her first. She thought and seemed to understand but didn't say another word, still refusing to let go. Seeing what was going on, Michael raised an eyebrow and quickly wrapped Kathy in a hug. Kathy, this is just his excuse for leaving you. Forget about that jerk. You have me now, and that's all you need. Listening to Michael's smooth talk, Kathy hesitated. However, Kathy's mom, who observed everything, coldly chimed in, Who asked for your opinion? Michael flinched and tried to use his usual act, sighing, Ma'am, I know you misunderstand me a lot, but back then I had no choice but to leave Kathy. My parents were seriously ill. I had to go. Kathy got hurt badly saving me, and I couldn't burden her more. Now I have no links holding me back, and I just want to be good to Kathy. Why can't you let us be together? The sight of a grown man with tears in his eyes, seemingly wronged, put one over on Kathy. Feeling pity, Kathy cried, It's just misfortunate fate that tore us apart. Watching them act like a pair of lovebirds cruelly torn apart, Kathy's mom was unfazed. She's been through too much to fall for Michael's little tricks. Besides, she came prepared, knowing Michael only came back for money. She sneered and interrupted the melodrama, addressing Kathy directly, If you want my support, fine. But I will freeze all your cards and take back the company. If Michael stays when you have nothing, then I'll let you two be. She offered to let them be but didn't mention giving any money. Hearing this, Michael just raised an eyebrow and agreed after a pause. But in truth, he was there for money. If Kathy had none, there was no reason for him to stick around. He figured if Kathy truly suffered, her mom wouldn't bear it and would eventually help. Kathy was still hesitant as she looked at me. Michael held her hand. Kathy, we are true love, and I don't blame you for being with another guy these past 7 years. Let's start over and show your mom we belong together. Under Michael's sweet talking, Kathy finally let go of me. I turned and got into a taxi heading to the airport. Kathy's mom, smiling, froze all her accounts, including the one she had just gifted Michael 20 million. Michael's face turned grim, yet he didn't show it and kept soothing Kathy. With their funds cut off, Kathy had nothing. The luxe cars, mansions, all confiscated. Finally, they lived in poverty. Initially, Michael held on to hope. He assumed Kathy's mom would relent if Kathy struggled. So he stayed at home, doing nothing, waiting for Kathy to earn for him. What he didn't realize was, during his absence, Kathy was often on the edge, tormenting herself. Watching Kathy in and out of hospitals pained her mom deeply. Her daughter could be with anyone but Michael. She could never allow that. It didn't matter if a future son-in-law was after money, but not at the expense of treating Kathy like Michael did. She made up her mind, even if Kathy begged for money, staying with Michael meant not a penny more would she get, even if it meant starvation. She was determined for Kathy to see Michael's true colors. Sure enough, Michael returned only to leech money, filling his company's losses. But with no money from Kathy, he was unwilling to waste more time. One day, when Kathy got back home after a long workday, Michael was nowhere to be found. Just like 7 years ago, he vanished, unreachable by phone, all lines cut off. Kathy was left to cry alone in their small apartment. It was only then she remembered me. She tried to call me for help, but she didn't know I had changed my number. Eventually, Kathy's mom brought her back home, leaving her in the same abandoned state as before. She barely ate or drank, spent the days listless. This time she wasn't asking for her mom to bring back Michael, but rather for my contact info. Initially against it, Kathy's mom relented after seeing her daughter's repeated suicidal attempts. She gave her my number and address. Once Kathy was out of the ER, I had taken a long break to sort myself out. Just getting back into work, I received an apologetic call from Kathy's mom. She kept apologizing, telling me to leave Kathy alone. I sighed, continued my shift, and, on the way home, found Kathy waiting. She held my hand, tearfully declaring, "Dino, I've been looking for you for so long. Please let me make it up to you." She didn't know her mom already told me everything that happened. It wasn't that she was constantly searching for me. Michael left her again, and I was the only one she could reach. I gently pushed her away. I was just returning a favor. "You don't owe me anything. There's nothing between us." Kathy was stunned by my refusal. After a long pause, she finally spoke. "Aren't you a doctor? Can I hire you to treat me? You're still just like before. Don't leave me, okay? I really am a psychologist, but I've never pretended to be a lover to heal someone." Kathy was an exception. If it weren't to repay a favor, no amount of money would have made me agree to help. And I've already repaid that debt. I refused her again. "No need, I don't take on such cases." Saying this, I turned and walked away. Kathy didn't follow me, and I thought she'd let it go. But on the day I returned to work, the first client I walked into was Kathy. I asked her what was wrong, and she pushed a breakfast box towards me. "Look, I prepared breakfast, it's extra hearty." I glanced at her hands, noticing new signs of wear and tear. I knew she got those from taking care of Michael during this time. Seeing I didn't move, she tried to feed me herself like I had taken care of her before, even cracking jokes to cheer me up. But I took care of her back then because she was sick. Now she's trying to repay me in this way, but I don't accept it. "Miss, if there's nothing else, you may leave." Next, without any mercy, I showed her out. She was stubborn, though, refusing to leave. Every day, she was the first person to sign up, always bringing breakfast or gifts. Eventually, my colleagues found out about my situation and envied me for having a rich, beautiful woman pursuing me. I just laughed it off when I heard them. It seemed like she was pursuing me, but she just couldn't let go of my care. In her heart, she could never forget Michael. No matter what she said or did, I paid no attention, just contacted Kathy's mom to come get her. She continued following me daily, yet her emotions remained stable. One day, beneath a clear blue sky, she wanted to invite me to the beach. I was just about to decline when she suddenly caught sight of Michael and rushed off. Once again, she left me behind for Michael. But this time, I felt no sadness, only pity for her life. I could have just turned and walked away. But being in a foreign country, a girl running around could be dangerous. Even if I no longer loved Kathy, I couldn't let her get hurt. I had to answer to her mother. After all, years ago, Kathy's mom helped my mother live long enough to see me get into college and pass away in peace. With a sigh, I chased after her. In a narrow alley, Kathy was trying to stop Michael from leaving. His foreign girlfriend walked away in anger. Michael looked completely annoyed. Kathy, sobbing as she clung to him, demanded, "Michael, you promised you'd never leave me. How can you abandon me twice? I let Dino down for you and did so much. Can't you feel even a little of my love?" Michael just sneered, not even bothering to pretend. "You didn't think I came back because I love you, right? Don't be ridiculous, I just needed money. I thought I could rely on you to get some cash from your mom, who knew she'd let you suffer instead of giving me a cent." What Michael didn't realize was Kathy's mom controlled the money and a single word from her could cut off his funds. But he had hurt Kathy too deeply back then, so her mom would never support them being together. Michael voiced his dissatisfaction with Kathy. Kathy was stunned. 7 years ago, didn't you leave because your parents were ill? Michael laughed even harder. My parents are healthy. You're the sick one, being so naive. His straightforward words shattered Kathy's dreams. Kathy was devastated, realizing the one she loved was only after her for money. Michael tried to leave, but she clung on desperately. He was on the verge of hitting her but stopped when he saw me. Roughly pushing Kathy towards me, he coldly said, "Dino, I'm returning Kathy to you. Keep her away from me, or who knows what I'll do." I caught Kathy and helped her up. Meanwhile, Michael swore as he walked away, complaining, "After all that, all I got was a watch. What a rip-off." With Michael gone, Kathy's hope shattered. She crouched down and cried her heart out. I stayed silently by her side and informed her mom of everything. When Kathy finally composed herself and saw me, she remorsefully hugged me and promised, "Dino, I realize my mistakes. Could you give me another chance?" I firmly shook my head. If there's no love, there's no love. You can't force it. Her eyes immediately welled up, and she knelt, pleading desperately, "Please give me a chance. I'll change, I promise. Can you be like before, even just a little?" I simply looked at her quietly and reminded her, love can't be begged for. The only thing you can do is love yourself. Kathy looked at me, seemingly understanding, but she said, "I know you still care, Dino. You must still have feelings for me. Why can't we get back together?" I paused, shaking my head as I explained, "You're overthinking. This is just advice from a doctor to a patient." But Kathy wouldn't listen to anything. She seemed crazy, only begging not to be abandoned. I knew she was sick again, and this time it felt worse than before. I had to call her mom again. "Annie, you have to come pick Kathy up. I really can't handle this anymore. If something happens to her, I can't take that responsibility. I just wanted to repay a kindness, not sacrifice my own life for it." While Kathy was losing her mind next to me, her mom showed up. She brought some bodyguards and took Kathy away forcibly. "And I have to leave here too. Find a place where no one can track me down, and live my own life." Kathy was knocked out and taken back. When she woke up, she was already at home. She opened her eyes, calling Dino's name a few times, but never saw his familiar face. In the past, even a little noise from her would catch his attention, and he'd play soft music to wake her. He would make her breakfast and heat up her milk. He'd even perfectly plan her outfit for the day. Kathy always appreciated Dino. To her, he was the perfect boyfriend. But today, he was nowhere to be found. She walked barefoot around the house looking for signs of Dino, but found nothing. No one was behind her with slippers, reminding her to put them on so she wouldn't catch a cold. She curled up in a corner for a long time until a servant found her and softly called out to her. That's when she remembered she'd lost Dino. Kathy desperately wanted to see Dino, but no one knew where he was. She angrily smashed the furniture until she saw her mom arrive. "Mom, I know you must have Dino's contact info. Please tell me, will you? I won't leave him again. I'll cherish him this time, I promise." Kathy's mom felt sorry for her daughter but shook her head and sighed. "Kathy, your illness has already cost him 7 years. We owe him too much already. We shouldn't bother him anymore. He left by himself without leaving any contact info. Only a few close friends know where he is, and they witnessed how he was let down at the wedding. They're not going to tell." Kathy stayed in the place filled with Dino's presence, refusing to leave. Memories of their 7 years together, their laughter and joy, lingered there. Whenever she was upset, Dino, with his awkward sense of humor, would try to cheer her up with jokes. But she was always cold, uninterested in anything. Now, Dino's jokes, which never managed to make Kathy laugh before, finally worked. Kathy talked to the white walls every day, sometimes laughing, sometimes crying. Her mom, worried about her mental state, installed surveillance cameras around the house, afraid something might happen. The drama was sudden, leaving everyone in shock. On her hospital bed, Kathy seemed lifeless. Her mom, though heartbroken, said seriously, "If you die, you'll never find Dino." Hearing this, Kathy froze. She absorbed half of what her mom said. In order to see Dino again in her lifetime, she finally agreed to take her meds willingly. As her condition improved, she spared no expense to find famous psychologists worldwide. Kathy saw one psychologist after another, but never the one she longed to see. Meanwhile, Dino had made enough money and was traveling the world. When he tired of it, he found a secluded mountain hideaway and lived out the rest of his days in peace.